Chapter 1. Author, Mimi Wood. I read the post again. My older daughter has been selfish and useless since she was little. She only got into a top college because she got lucky and landed a rich husband. Now she had a baby and suddenly acts like she's some fragile princess. My son-in-law's family spent $30,000 putting her in one of those fancy recovery places, and she doesn't think twice about it. Do you know what $30,000 could do? That's enough for a down payment on my younger daughter's apartment. My younger daughter, I was, my, it sounded exactly like no way, I opened the photo, Bruce Brighton, way too close. It took me the woman, under the photo, Kyla, then she forward, don't forget, I typed. Ever since I was a kid, Mom kept saying we were broke. As the older sister, I had to sacrifice more. So after high school, I never asked them for money again. I paid the bills. When Dad got sick, I covered his surgery. I dropped 20 grand renovating the house back home. And when Zoe studied abroad? 40 grand a year. I paid for 3 years. I really thought I had a happy family. Now I saw it for what it was. A bottomless pit sucking me dry. I gave them everything. And now they wanted to destroy my home. My fingers were still numb as I opened the post again. The poster had updated it a minute ago. Thanks to it, Linda knows best for the idea. I already did it. Now I'm waiting to see how my older daughter reacts. The comments were tearing her apart. She ignored every one of them. I stared at the update, then laughed. Fine. If you wanted to play games, I could play too. My phone buzzed again. Another long voice message from Mom. Kyla, did you see it? I've been through this before. Once a man cheats, he's trash. You need to think ahead. Continue to read this book for free. Scan code to download app. Previous chapter, latest chapter. Mom tried to wipe. The lawyer's voice stayed calm and sharp. The evidence in this case is overwhelming. The lawyer's voice stayed calm and sharp. Chapter 2. Author, Mimi Wood. Her voice was sharp and urgent. As I listened, old memories came rushing back. Back in high school, money was so tight we lived off discount food. To help out, I ate a peanut butter sandwich for lunch every single day. Then Mom went and signed Zoe up for a $3,000 dance program. Said Zoe was talented and couldn't be held back. When I got into a top university, Mom barely looked at my acceptance letter. What a lucky break. But with your personality, you still won't go far. But when Zoe got into community college, Mom acted like she'd won the lottery. She spent all day bragging about how smart Zoe was. Said she was destined for big things. Said the family would depend on her someday. Later, when Zoe demanded to study abroad, Mom told me to pay for it. I couldn't say no after that pleading look. I gave in. Then she threw Zoe this huge party. Relatives kept praising her for raising a daughter who studied overseas. Nobody mentioned I was the one paying for it. When I was 3 months pregnant, Mom stayed at the Brighton estate for a week. Those 7 days were a nightmare. One time, Bruce poured me a glass of water, and Mom immediately sneered. Look at you. You're pregnant, not disabled. Acting like a princess already? You can't even pour your own water? After meals, I cleaned the dishes while she sat nearby eating snacks. Wow. Now you know how to work hard? Where was this before? Then she'd turn to Bruce and start praising Zoe. Zoe cooks for herself in the UK. Such a good girl. Whoever marries her will be lucky. I spent my whole life getting torn down, thinking maybe I really wasn't enough. Now I finally got it. She kept me down so Zoe could shine, clearing the way for Zoe to marry into the Brighton family. I took a breath and typed. Mom, where did you get this photo? Typing. Stayed on the screen for almost a full minute. Then finally. A friend took it. Stop asking so many questions. I kept going. Which friend? When was it taken? Where? This time, she answered immediately. Why are you so focused on that? The point is he cheated. Stop nitpicking. She was rattled. I let out a cold laugh and switched to voice message. Mom, I feel like I'm falling apart. What am I supposed to do? My voice shook like I was about to cry. 3 seconds later, her voice message popped up. My poor daughter. I knew Bruce couldn't be trusted. Rich men are all the same. Her voice sounded thick with fake tears. Seriously, Oscar-worthy. I kept playing along. Then what should I do? Divorce him? She answered instantly. Yes. You have to. The baby's still young. It's not too late. I pushed a little further. But I can't let Bruce go. Her next message came fast, already irritated. What's so special about him? There are tons of men out there. Look at Jack next door. He's not bad. Okay, he's in his 50s and divorced 3 times, but he knows how to treat a woman. Not sure he'd even want you, though. I'll ask him someday. My grip tightened around my phone. Jack next door. I knew exactly who she meant. A drunk. A wife beater. All 3 ex-wives ran away after he beat them. Was that really all she thought I deserved? Another voice message came through. It's okay. I'll send Zoe over to stay with you for a few days. You girls can talk. Cheer you up a little. After a pause, I typed, okay. She instantly spammed smiley emojis. Great. I'll have her come tomorrow. I exited the chat and reopened the post. Sure enough, there was another update. Thanks, at Linda Knows Best. My older daughter totally believed it. She cried her eyes out. I'm sending my younger daughter over to keep her company, and maybe take care of my son-in-law while she's there. My sweet girl is gentle and beautiful. I'm sure she'll win him over in no time. Once it works, I'll update everyone. People were still dragging her in the comments. I shut off my phone and lay back down. Staring at the ceiling, I suddenly smiled. My husband, Bruce Brighton, wasn't some easy target. Continue to read this book for free. Free. Scan code to download app. Previous chapter. Latest chapter. Mom tried to wife swap me. Chapter 10. The lawyer's voice stayed calm and sharp. The evidence in this case is over. Mom tried to wife swap me. Chapter 9. Chapter 3. Author, Mimi Wood. Bruce came straight to the private recovery suite after work. He dropped his briefcase, washed his hands, then leaned down and kissed my forehead. Honey, did it hurt today? He still remembered the sharp pain from my C-section. I nodded. He frowned and immediately called in a nurse, asking if they could increase the pain meds. It's already at the max, the nurse said. So he sat beside me, took my hand, and gently rubbed it. I looked at him. Bruce Brighton. He took over Brighton Corp at 24. Tripled its value in 3 years. Cold, decisive, ruthless in business. Impossible to shake at the negotiation table. Even his own father said Bruce always played his cards terrifyingly close to his chest. A guy like that? No way he'd fall for Zoe's cheap tricks. The next afternoon, Zoe showed up at the private recovery suite. She was wearing the Chanel set I bought before I got pregnant and carrying a bag of bruised apples. Her perfume hit way too hard. The second she walked in, she gasped. "Kyla, why do you look so exhausted?" Her hand hovered near my cheek, but her eyes kept sliding to Bruce. Women still have to take care of themselves after having a baby. Look at me. I work out an hour every day. My skin's amazing. She did a slow spin in the middle of the room. Her arms and legs were stick-thin. No muscle anywhere. I watched her and almost laughed. How had I seriously fallen for this act before? Bruce sat on the couch flipping through reports without even looking up. When nobody reacted, Zoe froze for a second, then turned toward the crib. "Ah, the baby's so cute. Let me hold her." She reached out. Bruce stood first and picked up the baby. "You didn't sanitize." "Not clean enough." Then he carried the baby into the nursery. The door clicked shut behind him. Zoe's hand stayed hanging in the air while her face turned green. I almost laughed. "That's my man." Zoe wandered around the suite, loudly pointing out every little problem. When I still didn't react, she finally dropped onto the edge of my bed. "Kyla, where's your new Dior bag? It looked so good on you last time. Let me borrow it for a few days." "And Mom said your mother-in-law gave you a Cartier bracelet?" "Let me see it. If it's cute, I'll buy one too." Her eyes kept sweeping across the room. I used to spoil her rotten. Anything she wanted, I handed over. Now I realized I'd been a complete idiot. I smiled faintly. "The bag's at a cleaning service." "The bracelet?" "Oh, that's locked in the safe. Bruce has the key." Her face darkened right away. Just as she opened her mouth again, the nursery door swung open. Bruce walked out holding the baby, heading over to change her diaper. Zoe's voice instantly turned sweet. "Oh, Bruce. Why are you doing that?" She hurried over, reaching for the baby. "Kyla, seriously, that's a woman's job." Bruce stepped aside. "My daughter isn't your job." Then he gave me a look and laid out the diaper smoothly. Zoe's hand froze in the air again. Right then, her phone rang. She glanced at the screen, and a weird blush spread across her face. "Kyla, one of my friends needs me. I should go." Bruce had just finished changing the diaper. He set the baby down and wiped his hands with a wet wipe. "I'll drive." Zoe's eyes lit up. "Thanks." She reached to hook her arm through his, but he'd already turned toward the door. Her hand closed on empty air. After the door shut, I sat on the couch watching them leave, a chill crawling through me. The satisfaction from earlier disappeared completely. Half an hour later, Bruce finally came back. I sat there with my arms crossed, staring at him. "Who told you to drive her?" Bruce stopped in the doorway. "Wasn't it you?" Chapter 4. Author, Mimi Wood. I frowned. "When did I ever tell you that?" He walked over and crouched in front of me. "Remember when you were 6 months pregnant and Zoe came over for dinner? She insisted I drive her home. I didn't want to, but you said I was making you look bad. We had this huge fight, and you made me promise I'd always be nice to Zoe after that." The more he talked, the more wronged he sounded. Babe, you lectured me for like half an hour that day. Remember? I did. Zoe had worn my new heels and said she couldn't walk in the rain. I told Bruce to drive her home. He flat out refused. I thought he looked down on my family, so we fought about it. In the end, he gave in, and I still complained about his attitude. Looking back, he'd probably noticed something even then. I was the blind one. I had nothing to say. Bruce moved closer and rested his head against my knee. You really haven't noticed how Zoe acts around me. His voice trailed off. I sighed. She wants me to divorce you so she can marry you herself. Bruce's head snapped up. You know? His eyes lit up instantly. He grabbed my hand. You finally see it. Do you know how miserable I've been? Every time she comes over, that perfume makes me sick. Last time, she spilled coffee on my shirt and kept insisting I take it off so she could wash it. I locked myself in the study, and she still kept knocking, saying she brought fruit. The more he talked, the more worked up he got, like a kid finally complaining after holding it in forever. Then he suddenly stopped. Wait, how do you know? I handed him my phone. That post. My mom's messages. The AI-generated photo. All of it laid out in front of him. His expression shifted from shock to anger. This was your mom? His fingers trembled slightly. She's your mother. I said quietly, I always knew she favored Zoe. I just never thought she'd go this far. Bruce suddenly stood up. I thought he was about to lose it. Instead, he pulled me into a tight hug. Kyla. His voice was muffled against my shoulder. You're the one I love. Your sister, or anyone else. They don't stand a chance. He buried his face against my neck like a puppy that had finally found its way home. Nobody knew. The CEO who crushed people in boardrooms was desperate for love. When he was little, his parents were always busy with work and left him with a nanny. He never lacked money. Affection was another story. In college, he spent one birthday alone, crying by the track field. I happened to walk past and gave him a piece of candy. He said it was the first candy he'd ever gotten. After that, he chased me for 3 straight years. Bruce looked at me. Babe, what do we do? His voice dropped low. I ran a hand through his hair and narrowed my eyes. We play along. Gather evidence. Then deal with it legally. He looked up right away, eyes practically glowing. Okay. I'll have cameras installed tomorrow. Right then, my phone buzzed twice. The post had updated again. Everyone. Good news. My rich son-in-law already fell for my younger daughter. He even drove her home today. I'd say this is basically a done deal. I shot Bruce a look. He immediately threw both hands up, blinking like he was innocent. I looked back at my phone and scrolled down. That commenter, Linda Knows Best, popped up again. Congrats. But honestly? I know a way faster method. Like, guaranteed fast. Wanna hear it?
My mom replied fast, at Linda Knows Best. You're literally my savior. Spill? Bruce and I stared at the screen. After what felt like forever, Linda Knows Best finally replied. This time, just one line, DM'd you. Bruce dragged a hand through his hair. Oh my god. DMs? Are they allergic to public comments? I sighed. Forget it. one mess at a time. After 9 that night, my mom texted me, "Kyla, have you figured out what you're gonna do?" I sent back a shaky voice message. "Mom, no." Latest chapter. Mom tried to wife swap me chapter 10. The lawyer's voice stayed calm and sharp. The evidence in this case is overwhelming. Overwhelming. We'll be requesting the maximum sentence. Zoe stood off to the side, pale as a ghost. My mom crumpled to the floor. "Kyla, I was wrong. I know I was wrong. Can you please drop the case? I'll apologize. I'll kneel if I have to." I looked at the woman who gave birth to me, raised me, then tried to ruin my life. "Mom." My voice stayed steady. "I've done more than enough for this family." I gave them one last look, took Bruce's hand, and walked out. The verdict came fast. My mom got 3 years. Zoe got 1.5 years. The whole case went viral. The new mom setup stayed stuck at the top of trending for days. People went digging into Zoe's past and didn't miss a thing. That elite UK university she kept flexing? A total diploma mill. Then came the screenshots. Her flirting with a married guy while studying abroad. Her rich girl persona collapsed overnight. Relatives start. Mom tried to wife swap me chapter 9. I should have called the cops from day one and sent them straight to jail. That night, my socials blew up. Hundreds of DMs came pouring in. "You're seriously insane. You really did that to your own sister. Get therapy and stop ruining people's lives. The Brightons ended up with you? Damn, talk about bad luck." Calls from relatives kept coming nonstop. "Kyla, how could you do this to Zoe? You've been jealous of her since you were kids. Now you're just cruel. Just give Zoe some money and settle this already." As I listened, I kept thinking about growing up. These relatives had always taken Mom's side. They called Zoe pretty and smart, said I was boring and awkward, but behind our backs, I'd heard them whispering before. "Wanda's way too biased. Kyla's the good kid. Zoe's spoiled rotten. Wanda's gonna regret it someday." They knew exactly what was right and wrong. They just liked watching other people's lives burn. The messier, the better. When Bruce's paren. Mom tried to wife swap me chapter 8. Zoe's carefully crafted rich girl influencer account was instantly flooded with tens of thousands of comments. "How much for one night? DM me. A salon dude hit and quit, and you still acted like some rich princess online. Your body looked..." Zoe's eyes hardened. She nodded at Mom. "Mom, I'll do whatever you say." After that, the conversation ended fast. I turned off the surveillance feed. Bruce clutched his chest and looked at me like he was traumatized. "They're planning what?" From the sound of it, Zoe was planning to force herself on him. Bruce jumped up and grabbed his phone. "I'm getting Peter to send more bodyguards over." Peter was his secretary. I caught his arm, an idea already forming. "Or we play along and GI. The Mom tried to wife swap me chapter 8. Chapter 8. Want me to help you take off? Mom tried to wife swap me chapter. Want me to help you take off your jacket? The sound of rustling fabric grew quicker. Messier. I pressed my ear against the door, my heart hammering in my chest. Bruce better not have actually fallen into her trap. Suddenly. The door swung open from the outside. I jumped. Bruce stood there holding an empty wine glass. He looked at me with a faint smirk. "She really drugged me. Good thing you planned ahead." I peeked past him. Zoe was sprawled across the couch, completely passed out. I lowered my voice. "Did that guy get here yet?" Bruce nodded. Peter spotted him downstairs. "Let's go." We picked up the baby and slipped out. The second we reached the elevator, the doors slid open. A young guy in a cheap suit stepped out. His spiky mullet somehow made him look even slimier. His eyes darted around nervously, and he walked like he was on edge. As he brushed past us, I caught the strong stink of cigarette smoke. The elevator doors shut behind him. Bruce pressed the. Mom tried to wife swap me chapter 6. Zoe's eyes hardened. She nodded at Mom. Mom, I'll do whatever you say. After that, the conversation ended fast. I turned off the surveillance feed. Bruce clutched his chest and looked at me like he was traumatized. They're planning what? From the sound of it, Zoe was planning to force herself on him. Bruce jumped up and grabbed his phone. I'm getting Peter to send more bodyguards over. Peter was his secretary. I caught his arm, an idea already forming. Or we play along and give them a show. His eyes lit up instantly. How? I leaned in and whispered the plan in his ear. The more he listened, the bigger his grin got. Damn, babe. You're trouble. I raised a brow. Learned from the best. The next day, the show started. When Bruce came back to the recovery suite from work, I was sitting in the living room with the baby in my arms. The second he walked in, I hurled a cup at the floor. Oh, so you still remember to come back? Even I startled myself with. Mom tried to wife swap me chapter 5. My mom replied fast, at Linda Knows Best. You're literally my savior. Spill? Bruce and I stared at the screen. After what felt like forever, Linda Knows Best finally replied, this time, just one line. DM'd you. Bruce dragged a hand through his hair. Oh my god. DMs? Are they allergic to public comments? I sighed. Forget it. One mess at a time. After 9 that night, my mom texted me. Kyla, have you figured out what you're gonna do? I sent back a shaky voice message. Mom, no. I don't want to divorce him. I love him. Bruce gently wrapped an arm around me. Her reply came instantly. Dummy girl. But if you seriously can't leave him, I've got an idea. Pick a fight with him, then ignore him for a few days. Trust me, he'll freak out, regret everything, and come crawling back. Then she forwarded another article. If a woman isn't savage enough, she'll never keep her place. 3 tricks to control a cheating man. I pretended to hesitate, then waited 10 minutes before our free access to a vast number of good novels on Good Novel app. Download the books you like and read.